It's my pleasure on this wintry day to welcome you to the University of Manchester and the splendid surroundings of the Whitworth Hall for this graduation ceremony. In particular, I'd like to welcome our graduands whose magnificent achievements and hard work we are here to celebrate today. I would also like to welcome those of you who are here today as family and friends. Many of you have traveled long distances. We thank you for the help, support, and encouragement that you have given our graduands during their studies. A degree ceremony is a rite of passage, marking the move from one stage of life to another. Some of you will remain in higher education and research, but for many, the transformation is to the world of work. The early days of most people's careers can be challenging, but those of you who are graduating today have given yourselves a real competitive edge by completing your degree here in Manchester. The value of the piece of paper that will soon be in your hand is recognized around the world by employers. If you're still feeling the effects of your examinations or the pressure of deadlines for your theses, you could take some solace from the words of one of the world's first and greatest teachers and students, Aristotle, who tells us, "The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet." I hope that we give you a taste for learning that will always be with you. You've carried out your studies in one of the world's great cities, one that is recognized wherever you may travel for its contribution to shaping the world we live in today through the Industrial Revolution and the many great scientific and social thinkers in whose footsteps you will follow. It's also quite well known for its football. A few words about the institution whose name is written on your degrees. Manchester is already one of the finest universities in Europe. No fewer than 25 Nobel Prizes have been awarded to our staff and former students, and our alumni also populate the worlds of politics, media, and the arts. We will not rest there. We're determined to become one of the best in the world. Our ambitious plan is to lift Manchester into the first rank of virtuosity in higher learning. At the very core of the new vision is major investment in buildings, infrastructure, and facilities, and a commitment to the highest standards in teaching, research, and scholarship. But it isn't the bricks, mortar, wires, technology, equipment, pieces of paper that make this university so great and successful. It's our staff, our students, our people. During your studies, you've all, in your own way, enriched, shaped, and moulded the University of Manchester to the tremendous benefit of those who will follow you. The university is changing and will continue to change for the better because of you. So today is just as much about honouring you for this valuable contribution as for your success in your academic studies. Obtaining your degree is a hugely important milestone, and we should all celebrate your success. But this is the beginning of the journey and your association with Manchester, not the end. First, you'll take with you the strong, supportive friends and relationships you've forged here, which I hope will sustain for many years to come. You'll always be a part of the class of 2011 and of the greater family that is our alumni. The return on your investment continues way beyond today's pomp and ceremony. Our careers service continues to offer you help and support for 3 years, and you can continue to make good use of our world-class libraries. The Alumni Association will help you to remain in contact with the university, linking you with a community of more than 250,000 Manchester graduates living and working across the globe. So we sincerely hope today will not be your last contact with the university. And remember that our doors will always be open to you. One last message before we proceed is to remind you that your university degree does not only confer upon you a recognition of the knowledge that you have gained. In this age, where public trust in many of our leading political institutions has been damaged, we rely even more upon the integrity and informed skepticism that the trained mind can offer. Wherever you go in the world, you're also responsible for carrying those values which make that world a better place.
I'd like to welcome you here today on behalf of the Law School at Manchester. Manchester is famous for many things. We already heard about its football teams, but you might also think about the music in the city and its famous weather. But we also like to think it's famous for its university, and in the law school, we like to think we're part of the second biggest legal community in the United Kingdom. Physically in the city, as you walk around the Christmas markets, you might wander off and see our impressive new civil justice centre. But today I want to talk to you a little bit about the law school and the important role it plays in the international legal community. There's two elements, at least, to what we do. One is our research, the other is the quality of our teaching. In the last exercise assessing research quality in the United Kingdom, we were ranked third for research power of all the law schools in the United Kingdom, meaning that we're the third largest concentration of legal scholarship anywhere in the United Kingdom, and that's something we're very proud of and we're determined to build upon. But we're also very proud of the quality of our teaching. In a survey undertaken for a national Sunday newspaper, they listed the top 10 law teachers of all time, and two of those were from the law school at Manchester, Professor Harry Street and Professor now Baroness Hale. We're one of the few law schools that have had one of our professors rise to be a judge of the Supreme Court, and again, we're very proud of those people, but we're equally proud of the quality of the staff we have at the moment. I think it was the Modern Hall of Fame for law teachers. A good number of my colleagues will be inducted into it, and indeed we'll see an award made to one of my colleagues in a few minutes, recommended by last year's LLM students. That's just a symbol of the pride we take in our teaching here at Manchester. I would say there are also two distinctive features about our postgraduate community here at Manchester compared to many other law schools. First of all are the large numbers that we have. Whereas many law schools struggle to maintain any sort of postgraduate presence, we have, as you can see, flourishing numbers of law postgraduates. And also, we measure our success by the way we're able to attract the brightest and the best from around the world to come and study law here at Manchester. The other distinctive feature about the law school at Manchester is that we don't simply do the traditional law subjects, although we do them very well, but we also have many graduates here today from the fields of criminology and law and medical ethics. When I was thinking about this speech today, I thought that in one sense, it's obvious why the LLM and the other master's degrees we have here at Manchester and the PhDs are so valuable to you, because they place you amongst the elite in educated people around the world and give you the best opportunities to go on and thrive in this competitive global environment we work within. Well, I also thought this speech is quite difficult because the reason why people choose to take postgraduate studies are rather complex and varied and often very individual. For some, it's mere intellectual curiosity. But for many, it's a belief that they need to have a more in-depth knowledge if they're going to play a full role in the modern society. That the undergraduate law degree doesn't allow them enough specialisation in an era in which the law is becoming increasingly complex. It does make me wonder sometimes how some institutions believe they can do a law degree in 2 years, whereas in most other countries in the world, a law degree is 4 or 5 years, or even only a postgraduate qualification. And I think that our graduates at the master's level and PhD will benefit in their lives from the further in-depth study they take here at Manchester. For many other people, of course, they've chosen to come to Manchester from another jurisdiction to gain not only insight into another legal context, but also into another culture. And again, in the global environment, that's an invaluable experience. For many other people in the audience, it'll be as part of their professional development. We have many students taking degrees on a part-time basis. I know this applies to some intellectual property lawyers, criminologists, medical ethicists, and others. And I think those of us who struggle to do our day-to-day job in the hours we have allotted to us just wonder how people can manage to do a full-time job and undertake part-time postgraduate study. I also was reflecting on the PhD students we have here today, and I think behind every PhD you would know there's often a story of personal and family sacrifice and great courage to keep going and reach the highest level of academic attainment. I also thought to myself that whereas my first thoughts were with the students, I should also mention their parents. As somebody whose daughter has just gone to university this year, I'm looking forward to being in your position at the end of the story, and I'm just starting to learn the sacrifices parents have to make to give their students the opportunities in life that they've got today. And I know the students and the faculty are very grateful for that. When I met my first years this year, my first year undergraduates, I said to them that they'd now signed up to be part of the Manchester University Law School, not just for 3 years, but for life. And that same message goes to you today. We are increasingly aware that our relationship with you should not stop today, but we should build upon that and draw upon your skills for the benefit of future students, just as hopefully you've benefited from the advice and guidance of former students yourselves. So I wish you every success in the future, and look forward to seeing you being awarded the degrees you richly deserve. Thank you.
As Head of School of Languages, Linguistics and Cultures, I would like to join the Vice President and my colleague from the School of Law in welcoming you to this event. The graduates from our school have all completed a degree in some aspect of the study of language, whether they've studied translation, linguistics, or some aspect of the culture of Europe, China, the Arab world, or Latin America. What unites them is language. To try to impress on you how important the area of language studies is, I thought I would ask you to stop for a moment and think about what humans could have achieved if they had not had language. But of course, it's not clear that we would even be able to think about that if we didn't have language. Language is then central to what it means to be a human. Any old species can have a digestive system as subtle or as efficient as ours. Some species have more complex vision than we do. Some animals have quite complex systems of communication, but the subtlety of human language is unique to our species. Human language is one of the things that makes us who we are. And human language is crucial to many other things that make us who we are. There's then no doubt that what today's graduates have done to complete their degree is of phenomenal value. There are more concrete ways of measuring the value of having studied a degree, and using any of these, it is still clear that you made a good choice in choosing a language-based study. The Department for Business, Innovation and Skills produced a report entitled Higher Ambitions, the Future of Universities in a Knowledge Economy, and that report calls for an expansion of the number of language graduates at all levels. HEFCE, our main higher education funding body, produced a report on graduate salaries. It measured graduate salaries 3.5 years after graduation, a point when graduates can be assumed to have settled into their career. It shows that modern language graduates are the 4th highest earners. And I say this with respect to the School of Law, for the School of Law, after medicine, pharmacy, and architecture and planning, with the science graduates earning less than modern language graduates. This was based on undergraduates, but you can see how a postgraduate degree in a language-based area strengthens your job prospects further. Many of you will have done a postgraduate degree with a particular professional goal in mind, for instance, translation. All recent market surveys show that European and global markets for translation, interpreting, and language services continue to grow at a healthy pace. The European Union has a rule that you only translate into your native language. However, this rule cannot be maintained for English because there are not enough native speakers of English working as translators. Returning now to the human rather than the monetary value of studying a language-based subject. Those graduating today show tremendous breadth in the range of languages they have studied, but also in how they have approached language studies. Through translation, through study of the nature of language, what it tells us about the human mind or social interaction between humans, or as a vehicle for and expression of cultures, through literature and film, for instance. And they have done so to an impressive depth. This combination of depth and breadth in language-based studies is something which I would like to claim is characteristic of the school as a whole. Our school has teaching and research expertise in Arabic, Catalan, Chinese, French, German, Hebrew, Italian, Japanese, Persian, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Spanish, and Turkish. Of the languages I have just mentioned, at least 8, depending on how you count, are in the top 10 most spoken languages in the world. But we, as members of the global community, must be wary of an imbalance here. 95% of the world's population speak only 5% of the world's languages. The remaining 95% of the world's languages are spoken by smaller numbers, often only by tiny handfuls of speakers, and are dying out at a worrying rate. Our school also conducts research on some of the languages with fewest speakers in the world, in areas such as Peru, the Middle East, Nicaragua, the Pacific, and Australia. The loss of the world's linguistic heritage is as big a threat as the loss of biological species, and our school is proud to pass on both knowledge of the culture and tradition of the big languages and the commitment to document and understand the issues surrounding the small languages. It is customary on occasions like these to tell you of the famous graduates of the university. As I hope you know, we have recent Nobel Prize winners on our books, but I would like to focus on some of those famous graduates whose reputations rest mainly or partly on their use of language in different ways. Anthony Burgess, famous author of A Clockwork Orange, but also a linguist and a translator. Anna Ford, a broadcaster who was the first female newsreader on ITV. Ben Elton, comedian and author. Margaret Beckett, a Labour politician and the longest-serving female MP. Now, it's quite possible that some years from now, when one of my successors presents degrees, much like I'm doing today, your name is included in the list of famous graduates. However, whether you reach fame or not, what I wish for you is that you find your niche in life, professionally and personally, a place where your knowledge and skills are used and where you have the right level of challenge to keep developing as a professional and as a person. I hope that the degree you've completed at the University of Manchester has prepared you well for this. Do keep in touch and let us know how you get on.
Vice President, on behalf of the Senate of the University, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Olawud Amilola Awoye. Sarah Aslina Che Rohim. Muireann Quigley. And for the degree of Engineering Doctorate, Christopher Charles Cook. And for the degree of Master of Research in Criminology and Socio-Legal Studies, Criminology Pathway, Jennifer Dracup. Philip Goodwin. Laura Ann Haywood. Christopher Paul Matthews. Julie Ann Paul. Stephen Wakeman. And for the degree of Master of Arts in Crime, Law and Society, Sharon Boateng. Emma Ann Fullard. Carmen Louis. Holly Samantha Mills. Amy Louise Murtaugh. Daniel David Rogerson. And in healthcare ethics and law, Seema Agarwal. Sinead Ashbourne. Gabrielle Rachel Leela Bankilaf. Fiona Alix Castell. Beverly Ann Clough. Sarah Cowling. Jason Joseph Cram. Chantel Marie Davis. Victoria Jane Deister. Amira Nadia Farah. Brian Kyle Hanstein. Thomas Hodgson. Gareth Edward Hughes. Hugh Anthony O'Byrne. Adrian Prophet. And in law and development, Salma Hahor Lehman. And for the degree of Master of Science in Healthcare Ethics and Law, Wai Yi Chung. Peter Darkin. Laura Joanne Easton. Oluseun Famo Oreo. Zain Al Abidin Habib. Jennifer Claire Lace. Hannah Rosaline Lee Gill. Amy Thompson. Cara May Whitley. And for the degree of Master of Laws in Corporate Governance, Mawape Dancewell Boa. Maria Kamey. And in intellectual property, Akshay Aluwalia. Callum James Darroch. Julia Magdalena Fisher. Paul Gibson. Jian Hee Gu. Vanessa Patricia Harrow. Frederick Roger Jocquet. Suzanne Jones. Juliana Christina Kern. Pippak Legbumrun. Aliyah Madiarova. Mi Meng Meng Mao. Christopher John Mason. Sao Mu. Natasha Najram. Catherine Otokina. Tisha Sophie Patanama. Thomas Raw. Kikilola Ojulape Sojue. Lucy Williams. And in international business and commercial law, Oluwatosin Wanaola Abbas. Ayman Ibrahim Al-Alhabi. Nehal Al-Haki. Raliat Aditola Bakare. John Paul Bates. Belma Bullock. Lu Chen. Margarita Custal. Sotirula Dimosthenos. Ching Ping Ding. Seda Durson. Sean Halliwell. Yipsy He. Sanaz Hosseini Kolahi. Umang Jain. Andrea Kapitai. George Kipamoy Kiru. Yogi Kumar. Sudi Liang. Wen Qiong Liang. Zhao Yang Lu. Kurosh Madzede Kandani. Ethan Kelly MacDonald. Katerina Mercuri. Caroline Emily Rumbidzai Mutsinza. Ursula Nain. Julie Livy Jacqueline Neuvelas. Androniki Odysseus. Adaobi Julia Ofodimi. Anu Oluwapo Adiola Ogunleye. Aloko Emanuela Okoro. Salome Ufoma Osia. Wen U. Vasiliki Petru. Pekapum Fankasem. Anna Praskeli. Ranjana Sumana Rambachan. Irene Raspa. Sakib Raza. Amir Ramzi Ali Ibrahim Salama. Mohammed Shazad. Ankur Sharma. Avinash Shekhar. Nitiash Solanki. Priyanka Sonwalka. Zahua Sun. Andrei Vladimirovich Tamrazov. Antonio Omosefe Ugowe. Bersin Seda Urgan. Quinn Wang. Men Wang. Yang Yang. Quinn Yang. Henan Zhang. Xiaozi Zhang. Zitin Zhang. And in international financial law, Mehdi Abbas. Abdullah Saleh Al-Juma. Siyu Lu. Lin Ma. Volkan Unkibar. And in law, Harriet Emily Weatherby Crompton. Eva Nana Antonia Fenster. Chidinma Ann Nwahari. And Trenik K. Ozanian. Timothy John Pedley. Ishana Husmanova. Maida Shafiq. Jane Sharif. Amy Benson. Joshua Matthew Warburton. Ismail Wasim. And in Law and Development, Olifonmeleo Arimida Barley. And in Public International and European Law, Pauline Thivilia. And in European Law and Governance, Hannah Postle. And for the award of Postgraduate Diploma in Intellectual Property Law, Marine Parvez. And in International Business and Commercial Law, Jiao Jiao Kang. And for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Law with Politics with honours, Fatima Mann. And in Criminology with honours, Priya Deans. Lauren Claire Thompson. Ashley Helen Waring. And in Law with Criminology with honours, Christian Kirk. And for the degree of Bachelor of Laws with honours, Holly Ann Margaret Burrows. Elizabeth Greenleaf. Nathan Harewood. Lisa Suarez.
Vice President, on behalf of the Senate of the University, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Amir Shakram Kholi. Kaveh Morave. Ayumi Miura. Laura Ann Parker. And for the degree of Master of Philosophy in German Studies, Leslie Ann McKinty. And for the degree of Master of Arts in Applied Linguistics, Ladan Foroujian. And in Arab World Studies, Ruwaida Isruna Fletcher. Christine Anna Gilmore. And in Arabic Studies, Ibrahim Abdurrahman Al-Frai. Farah Khalik. Kira Sarah Richards Benson. And in Contemporary China, William Joseph Kirkby. James Richard Lancaster. And in English language, Mary Begley. Jonathan Sachi. And in Languages and Linguistics, Kimberly Faye Carlin. Penelope Vlakidu. And in Latin American Cultural Studies, Stephen William Allen. Kieran Haid. And in Linguistics, Yusuf Busby Albeda. Emily Jane Mackenzie. James Murphy. Faisal Mustafa. Kathleen Teresa Alexander James Reed. And in Middle Eastern history, James Joseph Ralph Griffiths. John Abbas Hamidi. Jack Benjamin Dean Roberts. And in pre-Islamic Middle Eastern studies, Thomas John DiMambro. And in translation and interpreting studies, Gabriela Alberti. Adele Awad Al-Halhati. Victoria Ann Beish. Gemma Louise Barlow. Gemma Beck. Moira Byrne. Elena Vladimirovna Daly. Sara Di Domenico. Rong Kyo. Amy Rebecca Hargreaves. Heating Hugh. Mira Jethwa. Tara Shaleen Kati. Caroline Emma Leonard. Sam Lewis. Alistair Charles Liggett-Wood. Hannah Mosford. Natalie Ogden. Bianco Siti Noraliza Pengiran Mohammed. Emma Sinead Phillips. Gary Power. Rob Pryor. Paloma Ricon. Magdalena Janina Salomon. Almut Karen Schafheutler. Timothy Andrew Sheedy. Yai Shi. Danielle Natalie Louise Sullivan. Huan Tien Tai. Jennifer Woolcock. Xiaoxi Zhu. And for the award of Bachelor of Arts in Chinese Studies with honours, Matthew Kell. And in English Literature with honours, Lucy Allen. Clementine Chambers. Kimberly Michelle Vernon. And in German Studies with honours, Felicity Mary Hazel.
Congratulations.
And in English Language with honours, Aidan Chant. Sinead Edgerton. Rebecca Lynn Gilmore. Anit Mahai. And in English Language and German with honours, Sarah Harrington.
On behalf of the university, I would once more like to congratulate you on your achievements and to wish you the very best in your future lives and your future careers. We're done now. You can put your hats on. You're graduates. I declare the ceremony closed. Please stand.